Hi, welcome back to another game of Quick Strike Football. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of this game. It's a new game, still testing it out, and I'm working my way through a pre-play of the 2022 Vikings season. Played a couple of games last night off camera. Week 6 against Miami. You can see that they won. They actually had a TD on their 9th drive, and that was the go-ahead touchdown. So beat Miami 27-20 on the road, and then the next week at home against Arizona lost 31-17. Had a key turnover at the end, and played well enough throughout the game. It was mostly a defensive game, but Arizona scored a couple of TDs in their last two possessions. So we head into week. I don't remember what their record is. I'd have to go back through their schedule, but I believe there's something like 3-4, maybe 3-4. So they beat Miami. They've beaten so one loss to Green Bay, a loss to the Eagles, 1-3 up to week number 3. And then week 4 was a loss. So 1-4, 2-5 was a win over Chicago. Week 6 was a win, so 3-5. So they're 3-6 on the year, heading into week 8. Can't be right. 3-4. They're 3-4 on the year. All right, 3-4. That's 7 games. So trying to claw back to 500 is Minnesota. Hopefully, this is not the way the season actually goes. I'm hoping they play a little bit better than this. Again, we're using 2 D10s and 1 D6. We have our cards here. Just give them a little shuffle. Usually I have to shuffle them a couple times. This game is fun enough for me to continue playing it. It's not very laborious. Just kind of nice. I only have an hour or so in the morning that I can do these things, hour and a half. So get a couple games, 3 games in, and sort of push through a season replay, which is kind of cool. Still thinking about how to differentiate between the teams. Right now, it's sort of just all luck all the time. Let's go and do the coin toss. Black die is the home team, which will be the Commanders in this one. So Minnesota wins, and they're going to defer to the second half. So it's going to be Washington in the first drive of the game. Let's see if there is a run back for a touchdown. There's not, thankfully. And Washington's got, 75 yards to go for a TD. Let's see how they do. 10, 18, 23, and there's a drive end. So 23 yards. That's going to lead to a punt. So 10, 20, and 1, 2, 3. That's at the 48-yard line. And let's see about the punt. Punting is a D6 plus a D10, so that's a 14. So not much of a punt there. So that's 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So down to the 38. Minnesota will start. Let's see if they run it back. They don't. So Minnesota from their own 38. Great field position for their first drive. And they only need to go 62 yards for the score. So let's, let's see if they can do it. That's 19, 21, 30, 36, 41, 49, 56, 63. And what do they have to go? They have to go 62, so that's going to be a score. For Minnesota, as they go 62 yards down the field for a TD, and they take a 7-0 lead on the road against Washington. It's going to be here, right? So Washington with their second drive of the game. And let's see how they do. Is there a run back in their future? And there's not. Let's give them a little shuffle shuffle. Washington, of course, being led by Carson Wentz now. Back in the NL East, the NFC East. We spent many years with the Eagles. Okay, Washington. Second drive of the game, they got to go 75 yards, and they go 10 and out. So good defense by Minnesota. Another punt coming from Washington. This will be from their 35. The punt is a good one, 62 yards. So it's going to really change the field position. That's down to the 3-yard line. Let's see if Minnesota runs it back for a TD. They do not. So it's a 1 and a 5. Hopefully it's a little better. I got the light situation straightened out this time. So Minnesota's second drive of the game. Give them a little shuffle. Hopefully you go out and you play this game. Let me know your thoughts on it. Is it enjoyable? Are there things... I'm not looking to make it a whole lot different than it is. Just maybe some way to differentiate the teams. So if any good ideas out there, I'd be happy to hear or listen. So 97 yards is what Minnesota's got to go for a TD. That's going to be 7, 11, 16, 20, 20, 23, 25. Wow, a lot of little numbers. 35, 43, 49, 59, 65, 73, 78, 82, getting closer, 89, 95, and one more. Oh, look at that. As they drive 97 yards down the field. Good job, Minnesota. And that's going to lead to another score. It's 14-0 Minnesota on the road in Week 8 against the Commanders. So if you think, oh, well, you can't get through a whole, drive down the field, well, you can. Several teams have, just in this replay and also in my other sort of test games. Let's see if there's a run back. No run back for a touchdown. So Washington will take over on their third drive at their own 25. So they got to go 75 yards for TD. 18, 22. Still on camera there. 27, 37, 39, 40, 48, 53, and a stop. So 53 yards, that might get them into field goal range. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 1, 2, 3, and it is going to be a field goal attempt. So let's get our 2D10s out. 1 to 80 is a good field goal, and that's a 32. So that will be 3 points for Washington as they get on the board, and Minnesota will take the kickoff. See if there's a return. No return for TD, so Minnesota is going to take over for their third drive. They got to go 75 yards. See what they can do. 10, 13, and a stop. How much of a drive? 13 with a punt. Let's see about the punt. So 10, 11, 12, 13. So from their own 38. Terrible punt, 12 yards. on the net. Excuse me, on the net. So 10, 11, 12. So barring a run back for touchdown, Washington will start at the 50 with a short field. And let's see, they have to go only 50 yards for a touchdown. See if they can draw closer here. This is the fourth drive of the game, so kind of think about that as the second quarter. So Washington's fourth drive starts at the 50, and they only have 50 yards to go. 8, 17, 22, 26, and a stop. Minnesota defense stiffens up. So 10, 20, 30, and back it up 1, 2, 3, 4. So down to the 24, another field goal attempt. 1 to 80 again is a good kick. Oh, 79. He just squeezes it into just inside the right goalpost, and they come away with 3. So 14-6 is our score. Minnesota ahead. That's going to be a 61, which is not a run back for a TD. So Minnesota's got 75 yards to go for a touchdown. Let's see if they can get something going here. They only have 1 scoring drive out of 3. So this will be their fourth scoring drive. All right. 75 yards, 9, and a stop. Good defense by the Commanders as Minnesota's forced yet again. So 10, 9, they're forced to punt. Let's get this one. That's 44 yards on the punt. And let's see if there's a run back. And there's not, although close, 99. Very close. Close as you can get without having it be a run back. So 44 yards, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So they will take over, the Commanders will, at their own 22. They're going to have to go 78 yards for a TD, so they're going definitely the long field. And this will be their last possession of the half. They started with the ball. They're actually going to get the ball last in the game, so that's sort of how it works. All right, Washington, 88 yards they got to go. I'm sorry, 78 yards, not 88, 78. So there's 7 of it, 14, 22, 28, 31, 34, 36, 43, 51, 60, 68, and a stop. So Minnesota stiffens up once they get inside the red zone. 68 yards, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 8 is down to the 10. So that'll be a field goal attempt. And this will creep them a little bit closer if they can get it. But they're down 14-6 at the moment. That's going to be a 96. So we read the black die first. So that's actually going to be a field goal miss. A little chip shot that the Commanders miss. And we're going to put this at the 17 because that's where the ball would have been put down. So Minnesota starts their last drive of the half. They've got to go 83 yards for the score. Let's see if they can at least get close enough to get a field goal attempt here. So Minnesota, 5th drive. See if they can get a little 2-for-1 where they score here and turn around and get another score in the beginning of the second half. That's what did I say? They got to go 83 yards. So that's 15, 19, 27, 33, 43, 52, 58, 62, 65, 74, 78, 83, And that's going to be right on it. Good enough for a score. Look at Minnesota taking it down the field. Sorry, that's 83 yards for the TD. So they really had the long field. And they put up a touchdown at the end of the half to take a 21-6 lead into halftime. So a big time drive there by the Vikings, as they're going to get the ball in the second half as well. They won the coin toss, deferred to the second half, so they're going to say, we'll take the ball. Thank you very much. And let's see what they can do in their first drive out in the second half. Kickoff, let's see if there's a return for a TD. There's not. And so Minnesota on drive number 6. Get a little shot of coffee. They got to go 75 yards. 19, 23, 31, 39, 41, 46, 53, and a turnover. Wow. 53 yards with a turnover. I knew that turnover king was in there somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 1, 2, 3 takes it down to the 22. And that's going to be where Washington takes over on their first drive of the second half. So no points there for Minnesota, although they drove down inside the opponent's 30. Remember, if you're inside the 30, you can attempt a field goal. If not, then you cannot. I would even say at the 30. So I wouldn't limit you there. So they've got to go 78 yards for the score. That's a 7, 27, or 17, 23, 31, 35, 37, 39, 44, 50, and a stop. So 50 yards. And let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and that puts them at the 28. They're going to try field goal, another field goal, as Minnesota keeps stiffening up as they get down toward the end, and 88 is going to be another miss. Oh, man. Oh, sorry, Washington. And then plus 7 is up to the 35. So Minnesota takes over at the 35 with a field goal miss. 2 misses for Washington. That's 6 points. And that would have had them at 21-12 at the least. But as it is, it's 21-6. And Minnesota with the turnover. Washington with the field goal miss. Not a great start to the second half for either team. And let's see if the two teams can clean it up a little bit. So Minnesota's got to go 65 yards for the score. 3 and another turnover. Yikes. So they go 1, 2, 3. It's to the 38-yard line, and Washington has the real short field right now as they took over at the Minnesota 38. Only 38 yards to go for a TD, and only 8 yards to go to get back into field goal range. A couple shuffles here. Don't know if the shuffling is annoying to anyone who's watching, but the game doesn't last very long. It's only about 20 minutes to play a game, so it's not too bad. Oh, yes. So no yards, and we're going to get a punt as they haven't moved inside the 30. Punt is 50 yards. That's going to be a touchback. And we'll mark that. Minnesota will start at their own 20, and that's going to be very good. So this will be their 8th scoring drive, or 8th drive. Hopefully it'll be a scoring drive. Several punts in this game. Defense playing pretty well. Had some long drives. Long drive here with the... Which one was it? I guess we haven't had any long drives with the punt, but long drives for TDs for sure. 80 yards to go for Minnesota. They're up 21-6, trying to add to their lead. 7, 10, 20, 22, 31, 41, 44, 50, 57, 61, 66, 70, 10 yards left, 75, 79, and 88. So they go the distance. 80 yards for the TD. Nice one from Minnesota. Fourth quarter TDs adding on to the lead. It's 28-6. Minnesota over Washington. This will be drive number 8 for Washington. Let's see if there's a run back for a touchdown here. 32, there's not. So Washington's got to go 75 yards for the score. That's a 3, 13, 19, 25, 35, 40, and a turnover. So Minnesota around midfield gets a turnover. So 10, 20, 30, 40. So at the 35, that's going to be a turnover to the defense. That is the first turnover for Washington. Minnesota's got 2 on the day. Washington says, anything you do, we can do better. And so we get a turnover at the 35. Minnesota's going to take over at the 35, 1st and 10 for their 9th drive. So 2 more drives left for Minnesota. They are up 28-6. And let's see what they can do. Got to go 65 yards for the TD. That is 8 yards and out. So that'll be a punt from Minnesota. So this is 10, 9, 8. So to the 47 yard line. And we're going to get a little punty punt. It's going to go down to Washington. Let's get this shuffle out of the way. Minnesota's punt is for 58. That's a good one. And that'll really turn the field. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And that actually goes into the end zone for a touchback. Washington will start their 9th drive at the 20-yard line, their own 20. So no chance for a run back there. And Washington's got to go 80 yards for the touchdown. So 13, 21, 26, 30, 39, 46, 56, 58, and a stop. So 58 yards, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and then -2 is down to the 22. We're going to try a field goal again. 1 to 80 is a good field goal, and that's going to be a 56. So finally, they hit on another one. They've actually missed 2 field goals. They missed one here, and they missed one here. Minnesota's been holding tight once they get down inside the 30, not allowing them to score TDs. But they do have 3 field goals. It's 28-9 right now. Washington can't seem to push through for the TDs. This will be Minnesota's last drive of the game. Let's roll to see if they score a touchdown on the kickoff. No touchdown on the kickoff, so they got to go 75 yards on their last one. They're up 28-9. Can't lose this one, but let's see what the final score is. It's going to be 13, 19, 23, 26, 29, 30. 6, 38, 42, 51, 60, and a turnover. 3rd turnover of the game. Typically, when you turn it over that much, you're going to lose. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. They turn it over inside the 30 with a scoring opportunity. And so Washington is going to take over there. That's the second turnover that they've had where they drove it down the field and just turned the ball over. Not a good situation. But Washington has not been able to convert any of their drives into touchdowns so far. They have to go 85 yards for a TD here. Let's see if they can. 16, 18, 22, 26, 30, 33, 42, 45, 53, 59, 64, 66, 69, and a stop. So Washington's last drive ends 69 yards, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and -1. And let's go ahead and see if they make that last field goal. They're the field goal team in this game. And that's going to be a 94 with another field goal miss. Man, leaving 9 points on the board. Miss 1, miss 2, miss 3. So a tough one for the Commanders. This is going to be the final. Minnesota goes into Washington. Kind of a sloppy game, but they win 28-9 over Washington, and that is week number 8. Minnesota pulls back to even 4-4, and let's see if they can push forward. Next game up is at Buffalo, so tough one. Two road games there out on the East Coast, and they'll be playing the Bills in week 9. I'm going to make a separate video for that one. This is Quick Strike Football. Looking to put together some of the components and things like that to make the game and make it a little bit more official with a little logo or something like that. So look for this to be coming out soon. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe. And if you click the little bell icon, then you'll be notified every time there's a new video. And I'll be posting at least, the replay of this. So we're in week 9 out of 17, 16 games. And let's see how Minnesota does. They're 4-4. Next game up is Buffalo. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.